Our standards for personal hygiene have evolved a lot over the years. Before our modern methods of developing water. Yes, we develop water. There's water development plants everywhere in the world. Before our modern methods of delivering water, people really didn't have that luxury, or they just didn't care. For instance, the Vikings were considered freaks because they bathed once a week at a time where some people would only bathe 2 or 3 times a year. Oh wow. So the Vikings were the only people who cared. They'd even regularly wash their faces in the morning in addition to changing clothes and combing their hair. No, I had no idea, actually. There were rumors that they were able to seduce married women and nobles at the time due to how well they kept up with themselves. Over time, bathing became more widespread. Mr. Holtzman, you didn't tell me this much about the Vikings. You just told me that they were big burly fellows who sometimes didn't even wear armor or whatever. People born to royalty would often have a room dedicated just for bathing. For the poor, soap was a luxury, so bathing was scarce for them. Isn't that frightening to think about? Yeah, and how do you think we got the bubonic plague? Pretty much, well, aside from the rats, since hygiene wasn't as widespread, the disease spread. Bathing was never taken seriously until the Black Plague swept through. Oh, see? Monika knows what I'm talking about. People began noticing the places where people washed their hands were places that the plague was less common. Nowadays, people are expected to shower daily, possibly even twice daily depending on what they do for a living. Yeah. And weirdly enough, some people think I'm weird because I do shower daily. People that don't go out every day can get away with bathing less often than others. A lumberjack would take more showers than the secretary would, for example. Yeah, because the lumberjack is out there chopping wood and waving around a big heavy axe or saw. Say, Daniel, have you ever wondered how Sayori stayed so slim? Okay, you better not make some kind of eating disorder joke. Well, even if she does, I can't stop her, necessarily. You know that she eats a lot, right? And she doesn't exactly have a very active lifestyle. At first, I figured that it must be her metabolism keeping her from putting on weight. But when I learned that Sayori wasn't real, I came up with another theory. As a character in a game, she needed to have some sort of visual representation so that you, Daniel, could see her. Okay. So a designer, possibly more than one, must have decided to draw her that way. Oh, I see. This reminds me of something that same history teacher who told me about the Vikings and whatever. He made a comment like how girls in anime are like so overly sexualized and exaggerated. I guess you could say, well, Sayori isn't sexualized, but I guess maybe some aspects of her are exaggerated. And since all the images have the same body type, Sayori would always have the same figure no matter what she did. Yeah, unless in the story they actually had her, like, body type change somehow. It would have to work like that for Yuri and Natsuki too. They decided that Natsuki should have a petite figure, and that Yuri should be taller and more developed, more mature, kind of. But haven't you noticed that the three of them still look similar in a lot of ways? Kind of. Well, I mean, they all wear the same uniform, but that's a given. Like, none of them are muscular or fat. None of them have any kind of physical disability. None of them are bald, or have hair shorter than chin length. And apart from Yuri having cuts on her arms, none of them have anything wrong with their skin. So in other words, they're perfect. Yeah, so, Mr. Holtzman, you were right. They are overly exaggerated. The designers must have thought that people would find all that stuff really repulsive. Tell that to the people who made that one visual novel that I can't remember the name of. The one that has Hanako in there. But people who aren't conventionally attractive end up in relationships all the time. Damn, Monika's pissed. Well, I get what she's saying. It's almost like the game is... Well, not the game, this game, but it's like media in general is probably trying to say that beautiful people hook up with beautiful people or whatever. But then you can challenge that with, well, that's not really the case. And yeah, so people who aren't conventionally attractive end up in relationships all the time. Do you like dogs, Daniel? Yes, I do. In fact, I have my own dog, who sometimes makes special guest appearances as sounds of barking or snoring. Dogs are great. They're really good to have around. They're very faithful companions, I'll say that much. Not to mention, owning a dog has shown to help people with anxiety and depression since they're very sociable animals. That is true. They're just so lovable. I really like them. I know Natsuki feels the same. She does? She was always so embarrassed to like cute things. I wish she was more accepting of her own interests. Hey Daniel. Have you ever read about different mythologies? I have kind of gone into them. Just a little bit. Different kinds of gods watching over humanity for eternity. Like, of course, the Greek mythology, the Roman mythology, and then the Norse mythology. Those are some of the ones I know off the top of my head. Some require tribute or sacrifice so they can keep humanity safe from disasters. An almighty family consisting of different attitudes, playing in their own sandbox called Earth, able to do anything they please and destroy those who so much as say something wrong to them without hesitation. So in other words, if you were to piss off Zeus, he will smite you where you stand. He will throw a freaking lightning bolt at your face and you'll die. I've always disliked stories like those. It's like the gods extort humanity for their safety. It's no better than what bullies and thugs do to the defenseless. It really makes me bitter when I read scenarios like that. Powerful beings take advantage of the weak just because they can. Don't worry though, Daniel. I won't let anyone do that to you. Because in the future, I'll become like my senpai Ultron-sama, and I will destroy them. And I won't do anything like that, so you don't have to be afraid of me. How ironic that she says that. Because a year ago, I would have been afraid of you. Oh, what? Those are 90s things? They go away? What do they get replaced with? With these flat circle frisbee thingies. At least that's what my history teacher called them once. When he's like, what are the people of the past gonna see? Like, if they were to look into your room or whatever, and this girl was like, she's gonna see, or they're gonna see all my CDs, and then he's like, what are they gonna think? That I like to play music? He's like, well, they may not even have those. To them, it just might look like a whole bunch of flat, shiny frisbees. Never mind, let's keep going. Let's see. Madonna. Bring back Springsteen. Madonna. Way before Nirvana. TGIF Fridays. Only on ABC. And, oh my gosh, we have a new topic. I'm so excited I'm jumbling my words. Have you ever thought about anime art styles? Why, yes. In fact, I've been trying to imitate that sort of style for my artwork. I'm sure Natsuki would be an expert on this, given her obsession with manga and all. Probably. I should immerse you into otaku culture. We'll start with Rurouni Kenshin. Okay, well... yeah, that's one of my favorite older anime. Anyway, there's a lot of interesting things about the art style. Like the large expressive eyes, and as Mr. Holtzman would put it, the over-exaggerated women. It's freeform, like my poems, which makes a lot of the art really unique. And very expressive, I should add, especially with the eyes. And then there's Saitama. From the beautiful scenery to the amazing characters, it's just really impressive to look at. Although being a freeform art style, a lot of details tend to look a little unrealistic. Yes.
Yes!
I am sure Mr. Holtzman would agree with you. I think I already told this story, but somehow when he was saying, when we got to the topic of it, like how women in anime are like super over-exaggerated. Yeah. Well, it's like, at least I'm not gonna get into that too much unless she wants to. While it lets a lot of artworks explore new possibilities, it can also make some details look weird. Like Lind in the official Fire Emblem art book. That just looks super weird. Especially when you find out what the artist who drew that picture of her does on the side. Like how a character's eyes can be so big, how small their noses are, or how their hair can be in strange lengths, shapes, and sizes. Let's play a game of Who's the Anime Pro Tag? If you guess the person with the very crazy hairdo, you're right. Okay, trainers, which one of these Pokemon evolves into Seviper? If you guessed Arbok, you were right! I'm never gonna let that go. And not to mention... large chests. Yes. Okay, yeah, I guess now we're gonna get into that. If I looked more realistic, I certainly wouldn't have those attributes. Yeah, because you are a cute white anime girl. With chestnut brown hair and emerald eyes. But I guess the lack of realism is where the true beauty of the art style really comes from. That it does. Okay, well... yes, finally we got to have an engaging conversation with her. Oh, you have a point. I'll need to calm down before my meeting or else my goose is cooked. Any suggestions, number 69247? You seem the lazy, unmotivated type. How do you chill so well? First, I stopped getting obsessed about Spider-Man. Especially now that he's back in the MCU, and hopefully Sony doesn't decide to... Actually, yeah, I still don't know whose fault that was. Well, I usually find yoga helps. Yeah, I can see where this might go. You gotta strip away all the bad vibes, boss. You gotta let it all go. Like dust in the wind. Moo. Okay, well... you know... Moo. Well, that's what your mother said last night! Yeah. I miss doing the Dr. Wood voice. Yoga! Is this some sort of political action committee? Because then I 100% agree. Yeah, I don't get it. Alright. Very well, number 69247. I shall try it your way, despite your... your... ostensibly average productivity. Alright, first, I must strip away my pants. Pants are stressful, right? I've heard that somewhere. Yeah, it's like Dr. Manhattan says. Pants are meaningless. Or at least the fake Dr. Manhattan in Attack of the Show. Which I'm sure none of you youngins know about. So I sound like a loon. Then I strip away the tie. The black dress socks. The sock suspenders. I don't feel any more relaxed. I think you've got to try meditating. Look within yourself. You need to strip away the physical world and see it for the illusion it is. So basically just have an epiphany like Monika did and realize that everything is a computer game and our lives are meaningless. Therefore, all your worries and concerns, all your sorrows, they themselves have no meaning. And therefore, we are like the Tao. We simply exist. We are everything and nothing all at once. We just are. And that's all you need to know. That's ridiculous! I can't strip away the world! And... yeah, this is Murray. No one knows why he's here, or who he is, or anything. We just know that Murray just is. Okay, here's Tim. Do you remember when we talked about Plato's Cave? I've been thinking about what I said to you. Essentially how you went through this revelation and... oh, look at that, her eyebrows actually have a different sort of animation there. Or illustration, I don't know. How do you know if the truth you're seeing is the truth? I've been thinking about it for... I've been thinking for a while, trying to come up with a good answer. I still don't really have one yet, but I did realize something useful. Like what? I just saved my money by saving... I just saved money on my car insurance by switching to Geico. Okay, no. Man, those are some really old commercials. Geico doesn't even make commercials like that anymore. Let's start with how Plato's works are mostly written accounts of his mentor Socrates' debates with others. Oh yes, Socrates. It's like, fun fact, he was apparently, like, charged with poisoning the youth with all of his philosophies and whatever. And they gave him the choice of either death or exile, and he chose death. Plato, on the other hand, he's like, well, Socrates did this and this, but this, and that, and then, well, same thing happened to Plato, and then... so he basically ended up coming at the same sort of crossroad there. It's like, okay, well, you're poisoning the youth, so death or exile. So instead, he chose exile because he didn't want to die. As for Aristotle, I don't quite remember what happened with Aristotle. And it's like, I'm almost amazed I still remember some of this stuff. But anyways, let's see. The purpose of these debates was to find answers to universal questions. In other words, they were searching for the truth. We're closer to the truth. And I began wondering, what was Plato's mindset while writing? I have no idea. Well, it's like, that is the question, isn't it? Plato himself was on a quest for the truth. That much is obvious, or else he wouldn't have written so much on the topic. And even though technically Socrates was the one having these debates with others, Plato too was having these debates within himself while he wrote about them. The fact that Plato internalized all sides of the debate, all perspectives of the issue, is pretty significant in my opinion. Taking all sides of a debate, I think that'd be pretty useful in realizing the truth. Supposedly, since I guess in a way, truth is but a certain point of view. So, if you listen to different points of view, I guess in theory you could reach the ultimate truth. If there is even such a thing as the ultimate truth. You know, going back to my contradiction of how truth is but a point of view. You know, so what I told you was true, from a certain point of view. Yeah, I swear it's like I quote those movies way too much. I guess it's kind of like how two eyes are better than one. Having two eyes in separate spots lets us properly see the world, or in this case, the truth. Likewise, I think if we tackled an issue with another perspective, to cross-reference with the first, then we'd see the truth a lot more clearly. Whereas if we took to an issue from just one angle, it'd be like having just one eye. It'd be a bit harder to accurately gauge the reality of the situation. What do you think, Daniel? If you haven't already been using this multi-perspective approach, maybe you can try it sometime. Yeah, that's why I usually try to listen to, like, all points of views before I jump to conclusions about anything. Because likewise, yeah, if you're only seeing it from one perspective, then chances are you're not seeing the whole picture here. And the whole picture, therein lies the truth. It'd be like me just staring at a wall and then ignoring, like, everything behind me. You know? It's like I'm only looking in one direction. Or one spot, and then it's like, well, the truth is, like, right behind me, but then it's like, if I refuse to look behind me, well, then I'm not seeing the truth there right behind me, because I'm so adamant on, like, no, this is the way. It has to be this way, like, what I'm looking at right now is the right way, and whatever. And it's like, okay, but, yeah, but the real right way is, like, right behind you, and I'm like, I don't care, this is the right way. No. Well, I mean, at least stupidness aside, that's what I would say anyway.